Mike Maloof began his business education at a very young age. Growing up in Las Vegas, New Mexico, the family's general store was his second home. His father, Joseph, had only a third-grade education, but his work ethic and integrity contributed to his ability to build solid relationships with his customers. Mike watched and learned from his dad.
He had a lot of integrity. People trusted him. They loved him. Customers from the country, you know, would come in, and they'd come in their horse and buggy. And then my dad figured, well, maybe I better put up that was our first venture into the motel business. They would buy their provisions for months, you know. And then the night before, they'd give my dad all their money, and they'd say, here, we're gonna go out on the town tonight, so just let me have a few bucks and I'll see you in the morning. So they'd go out on the town, and the next morning they'd come in and buy all their groceries.
The Maloof family had emigrated from Lebanon and made their way from Ellis Island to Wagon Mound and on to Las Vegas. Like his older brothers, Mike attended the New Mexico Military Institute. But when his father became ill, he returned to Las Vegas and finished his high school education there.
I went to University of New Mexico, and you know, all my life I'd been so involved in the business and so interested in the business that I couldn't concentrate on my work, you know, my college work. So I figured maybe I better get out of town and try that. So I did. I moved to Las Cruces and went to New Mexico State, and that was the best thing I could have done.
In addition to his studies in the College of Business, Mike was a member of the SAE fraternity and the university tennis team. In his junior year, he decided to run for student body president. Borrowing a successful campaign slogan of the 1950s, Maloof's I Like Mike theme, along with his usual hard work, resulted in his upset win.
I learned a lot in the business college. They've had some great leadership there. Dean Guthrie was a sponsor of ours. I was a member of the SAE fraternity, and he was a sponsor, and so I got to know him pretty well, and he was a class act. I think it's a great institution with some great programs, great teachers, and you can build a good foundation on what you learn in New Mexico State.
With a college degree in hand, Mike returned to Albuquerque to make his mark in the family's beer distribution business.
Mike's sister and I were best friends. And from the moment we met each other, I didn't want to date anybody else. I guess he didn't either. So it was just, I don't know, love at first sight, or just what it was that we just, I think, meant to be together. And we were married on Easter Sunday, which was very special, April of '56. We were married 50 years and raised 5 beautiful children, and we had good times together.
Mike had 2 priorities in his life, his family and the business. His family remembers that he successfully combined the two in many ways.
My dad taught us through example, lots of values that I think I've incorporated in my own life. I have lots of very happy memories from my childhood with my dad. Probably what sticks out most in my mind is the summers that we would spend in Sapio, New Mexico. He would go and work for 2 weeks in Vegas at the warehouse when the manager would go on vacation and take us up to the mountains, and we always rented a cabin every year from Tito Martinez, who was from Sapio, and we had a lot of wonderful memories there, having picnics in the meadow.
He was a great dynamic salesman. He loved to sell. And it made him so happy when he could take a young man starting out as a truck driver, then becoming a salesman, and then becoming a supervisor. To him, that was the best thing ever, because he would nurture these men into improving themselves and improving their families. Everybody was family to him. You know, he had a wonderful way of making a relationship with his employees. They were family. His customer was family. His supplier was family.
Definitely his philosophy was the customer was the king. And that was one of his roads to success.
Mike's business success grew out of lessons learned from his family, NMSU, the Dale Carnegie Program, and his inherent sense of how to treat people. During his long career, he received many awards from the suppliers he represented. New Mexico State named him a Distinguished Alumnus in 1975 and inducted him into the college's Hall of Fame in 1999.
How important it was to my dad that he have a good relationship with employees, customers, suppliers, all of his business associates. Business was always a very big part of our family, and it really was who my dad was. He had a warmth and a way about him that really was inviting and just comforting.
I started in 1981, and I've been with the business 24 years. And my dad was my teacher. And he pretty much gave me all my titles and all my job descriptions. And actually, he's the only person I've ever worked for. I love working for my dad. He was just so positive and so enthusiastic.
Mike believed it was important to serve the community in which the business was located. His civic leadership included being a member of Kiwanis for more than 25 years, working with them at the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta and other events each year. He served proudly as the president of the Great Southwest Council of the Boy Scouts.
He was never a Boy Scout, but he lived the principles of scouting. He was given the Silver Beaver, which is a very high award, and the Order of the Arrow, and he was president of Keep New Mexico Beautiful. Mike and I started the state's birthday party, and every year at the Capitol, and we're still doing that.
My father was New Mexican through and through, and chili was the staple of his diet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he loved both red and green. My father always believed in be a good example. So he really lived his life by his words. Work hard, be honest, have a positive attitude, be persistent, never quit on anything, ever.
He was a great person when he got ill. He remained very kind, and he was never bitter, and the nurses and doctors loved him. He'd make everybody laugh. I mean, he was a very, just a wonderful human being.
His family, friends, and business associates mourned Mike's passing in March 2006. The love and lessons he shared with the people who knew him now inspire them to work to preserve Mike's legacy.
Mike was so special because he always made time for those who needed him, whether it was family, friends, customers, or organizations like the Boy Scouts. We were friends since the 50s. We were both in school there in the early 50s, so we knew each other and kept up with each other since then. And Mike was really my very best friend.
I think he would tell them, number one, to be honest and to, of course, be loyal and positive in everything you do. Work hard. Doesn't come easy. Work hard and strive to be the best person you could be with your background of New Mexico State, and you'll be successful.